You've probably heard about geocaching, but how about horror caching? Yeah, you heard me, horror caching. Talking this morning with Josh Paquin, and he has written some horror tales, I guess, and kind of put them into a geocache kind of scene. Tell me what this horror caching is.
What I've done is I've written 3 horror stories about 3 different witches, and they're 3 pages long each. So what I've done is I've laminated these pages and put them in a cylinder with a logbook for anyone to sign if they come along and find it. And I've hid them in 3 different locations in Fredericton and surrounding area for people to find and to experience in the outdoors.
Okay, so we're not going to tell them exactly where they are, but there's one in Fredericton.
That's right.
There's one in New Maryland and one in Lincoln?
Well, there's one by the Lincoln Big Stop.
Yeah. There's a good clue.
Yeah. They're kind of at different parts of the area.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you timed it right, really, I mean, you could do all 3 and stop at the Big Stop for lunch.
Hey. So now, while we talk geocaching because it's the same kind of idea. So
right.
you needed, some people use a GPS, for example?
Yeah, well, what I did was I included the GPS location, like the GPS coordinates, in my YouTube video.
Okay.
So people who are more versed with kind of geocache can use those, but as well, those people who are not as familiar with that, you can use. I've actually taken footage of where the horror caches are hidden, so you can also go by that. Say if you have a smartphone and you're walking some of the trails, you can use that footage to kind of guide you to where they are.
So now, where do we find it on YouTube, Josh?
Probably the easiest way is if you go to my website, www.thedarkopera.com.
Okay.
And you just scroll down a little bit, and it'll be right there on my blog. So
now, briefly, tell me why you did this. Like, why these horror stories in that?
Well, I did it a while back, and at the time that I had done it mostly for friends and family, and it was a fun experience. I had some good feedback. And I think it stemmed from I just love to go out and in the woods and these trails that we have around, and especially into some of the side trails, because that's, I think, where you get a real sense of exploration, of uncovering things and stumbling upon things. And I think that paired with my love for horror is kind of what inspired these horror caches, and wanting to share that with others.
Well, I'm so glad you did, and I'm sure so are the other people that are going to be out looking for them now. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Josh.
Not a problem.